Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today we're venturing into the wild and passionate world of Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights.
hmm
We've got a fascinating companion for our exploration, a teacher's guide. It's designed to unlock the novel's complexities for students.
Yeah, it's a great way in.
Our goal isn't just to, retell the story, but to really understand why this novel still grips readers and what key aspects are often focused on when studying it. Okay, let's unpack this enduring power.
Absolutely. This teacher's guide gives us a really focused lens. It helps us look at Wuthering Heights by highlighting the core elements.
Yeah.
The characters, their intense motivations,
Right.
the intricate tapestry of themes woven through it, and the novel's pretty distinctive structure. Think of it like a set of keys, really,
Mm.
that help us unlock a deeper understanding.
And for you, the listener, this means, well, hopefully a direct route to grasping the essence of Wuthering Heights. We'll be pulling out those crucial insights, maybe uncovering some unexpected angles, and drawing connections that hopefully resonate even today. Let's start with the basic setup, the overall premise.
Okay, so the novel really revolves around the intertwined destinies of two families, the Earnshaws and the Lintons.
Hmm.
And at its heart, the whole narrative is propelled by these two powerful forces,
Hmm.
a love that borders on obsession and this relentless pursuit of revenge.
It all kicks off when Mr. Earnshaw brings a foundling, Heathcliff, into the family at Wuthering Heights. That one act is basically the spark that ignites everything that follows, doesn't it? Sets off this whole chain of incredibly complex relationships.
Exactly. Heathcliff's arrival immediately stirs up deep jealousy and rivalry,
Mm.
especially in Hindley Earnshaw, Mr. Earnshaw's own son.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this uniquely profound and intense connection blossoms between Heathcliff and Catherine Earnshaw.
And that connection, well, as we know, it's not exactly straightforward romance. It's fraught with tension, and it takes a devastating turn when Heathcliff, feeling rejected, just disappears from Wuthering Heights. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Right. Years later, his unexpected return just throws the whole established order into chaos. Catherine's now married to Edgar Linton. He offers her social standing, security.
The civilized life,
Precisely. Yet her, well, visceral attachment to Heathcliff remains completely unbroken. It creates this impossible dilemma for her.
which kind of inevitably spirals into tragedy. Heathcliff, fueled by this burning desire for revenge against everyone he thinks wronged him,
Mm-hmm.
he starts down this path, taking actions that inflict lasting pain on both the Earnshaws and the Lintons. It's a genuinely destructive cycle, unfolding across generations.
However, the guide makes an important point here.
Hmm.
The novel does subtly offer a glimmer of potential resolution in the next generation, specifically through the relationship between young Cathy Linton and Hareton Earnshaw.
Ah,
Their connection sort of hints at the possibility of breaking free from those destructive patterns of the past. A bit of hope, maybe.
one of the first things a reader notices, I think, about Wuthering Heights is its, well, unconventional structure. It's not just a simple A to B story.
No, not at all. And what's fascinating here is Bronte's deliberate choice to use a non-linear narrative. The story spans two whole generations, and as the guide highlights the themes and relationship dynamics of the first generation, they get reflected and echoed, though not exactly replicated in the second.
Like a distorted echo.
Exactly. This mirroring effect adds layers of meaning to those central ideas. It's quite clever.
And then there's the way the story is actually told. I mean, we're not getting it straight from the author, are we?
No, precisely. Bronte skillfully uses multiple narrators. Primarily, you've got Mr. Lockwood, the newcomer renting Thrushcross Grange, and Nellie Dean, the long-serving housekeeper. This creates a layered perspective. We're not getting a single objective truth.
It's like we're trying to piece together a puzzle from different people's accounts, right? And the guide points out, this naturally leads us to question how much we can actually trust these voices. What are their biases? What might they be leaving out, or maybe emphasizing for their own reasons?
The guide offers a really compelling analogy here. It describes the main characters as being seen through a series of mirrors, each causing a certain amount of distortion.
That's a great way to put it.
It is. And because of this, we, as readers, have to actively engage. We're constantly trying to figure out the characters' true motivations, their inner thoughts, based on these filtered perspectives. This technique, using what we often call unreliable narrators, storytellers whose accounts we might doubt, forces us to become active interpreters.
Which, when you think about it, kind of mirrors how we understand things in real life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Our understanding of events, of people, it rarely comes from just one perfect source. It develops gradually, shaped by different viewpoints, and it's always subject to change.
And this intricate narrative structure directly feeds into the key themes of the novel, which the guide helpfully breaks down for us. Foremost among these, it really emphasizes the intertwined nature of intense, romantic love and the destructive power of vengeance. Those are the primary driving forces.
Absolutely. You just can't discuss Wuthering Heights without acknowledging those overwhelming passions that fuel the characters. And the equally powerful, corrosive desire for revenge that drives so much of the plot. But the guide also draws attention to family history, the complex web of relationships, and particularly the theme of sibling rivalry as fundamentally important.
Yes, the novel undeniably delves into the deep-seated history of these two families and the, well, profound impact of an outsider, Heathcliff, on their established dynamics.
Right.
And within the Earnshaw family itself, that intense competition between Hindley, Catherine, and Heathcliff for their father's affection. It serves as a powerful example how early sibling rivalries can just have these far-reaching and devastating consequences.
And it really makes you consider how those formative family dynamics, those early battles for attention and love can cast such long shadows, how they can have such destructive effects later in life.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the novel intensely explores the complexities of what we might traditionally call romantic love. The bond between Catherine and Heathcliff is shown as incredibly profound, almost like a merging of two souls.
Catherine's famous declaration, "He's more myself than I am, whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same," that just perfectly captures that sense of an almost mystical connection.
It really does.
But then you have Heathcliff's rather possessive statement, quote, "He couldn't love as much in 80 years as I could in a day." It feels like a stark contrast to Catherine's more reciprocal-sounding idea.
And this raises a crucial question, doesn't it? About the nature of their bond. Is it this idealized, transcendent love, or is it something far more complicated? Maybe even, a self-destructive, obsessive entanglement. The guide encourages us to really grapple with that ambiguity.
Yeah, it's not simple. And then there's that pervasive theme of revenge, which practically, well, it permeates every aspect of the novel. Heathcliff's relentless pursuit of vengeance against both families becomes the central engine driving the whole plot forward.
What's particularly insightful here, I think, is the guide prompting us to consider the impact of revenge on the person who enacts it. Does it actually bring satisfaction?
Right.
Closure?
Or does it just consume them?
Exactly. Or does it instead consume and corrupt the person, just perpetuating a cycle of pain? Wuthering Heights certainly offers a potent exploration of those consequences.
Finally, the guide touches on that significant contrast between nature and civilization, a dichotomy that's so vividly represented in the novel's settings and the characters themselves.
The Earnshaw family is strongly associated with the wild, untamed moorland, a setting that embodies nature, raw emotion, a certain disregard for societal niceties.
Right. Wuthering Heights itself feels wild.
It does. Conversely, the Linton family embodies civilization, social conventions, a more cultivated existence down at Thrushcross Grange. It's interesting how the landscape itself seems to mirror the inner turmoil of the characters. That's a classic literary technique, isn't it? Where the environment reflects inner states.
And these distinct settings and the behaviors associated with them, they undeniably play a crucial role in shaping the characters and their, well, often turbulent relationships. It's like the very landscape echoes their inner passions and conflicts.
Okay, turning our attention to the characters themselves. The guide gives us these concise yet illuminating descriptions, offering an educational perspective on their roles. Heathcliff, of course, stands right at the center of the conflict.
The catalyst.
Yes. The guide highlights his dual nature, noting he is a dark-skinned gypsy in aspect, in dress and manners a gentleman. This immediately points to the internal and external conflicts that define him.
And Catherine Earnshaw, tragically caught between her passionate, almost primal connection with Heathcliff and the societal expectations pulling her towards marrying Edgar Linton. Her internal struggle is just, well, it's the engine of so much of the tragedy.
Edgar Linton represents that stability and social acceptance Catherine thinks she desires. Yet ultimately, he fails to fulfill her deepest emotional needs, doesn't he?
No, he can't.
He embodies the civilized world she chooses, maybe at the cost of her truest self.
Then there's Nellie Dean. She serves as the primary narrator for a huge chunk of the story. The guide presents her as the observant housekeeper who's witnessed everything unfold. But it also raises a really critical point. Is she simply a reliable witness? Or could there be, subtle elements of manipulation or personal bias in her storytelling?
That's a key layer to consider when you're interpreting the novel.
Yeah.
Her perspective undeniably shapes how we understand events. questioning her reliability as a narrator adds another whole layer of complexity to reading it.
Definitely.
Then we have Mr. Lockwood, the outsider, whose initial experiences frame the entire narrative. The guide suggests his discomfort with intense displays of emotion serves as a stark contrast to the passionate, often volatile nature of the Earnshaws and Lintons. He's like the reader's initial stand-in, almost.
Yeah, maybe a bit bewildered by it all. And finally, the second generation, young Cathy and Hareton Earnshaw. The guide really emphasizes their potential for a different kind of future, suggesting their relationship offers the possibility of a love grounded in mutual respect and genuine affection, rather than the destructive passions that consumed their parents and Heathcliff.
The mood and setting of Wuthering Heights are just completely intertwined, aren't they? The guide underscores the vital role of that desolate, isolated moorland in establishing the novel's pervasive sense of gloom, its often oppressive atmosphere.
You can almost feel the biting wind and the isolation of those moors when you read it. The guide even quotes some of Bronte's evocative descriptions, like the excessive slant of a few stunted firs and the gaunt thorns all stretching their limbs one way. It vividly brings this harsh, unforgiving landscape to life.
And this setting isn't just a backdrop. It actively contributes to the overall feeling of the novel. It mirrors the untamed, isolated inner worlds of the characters.
It's interesting how the guide also considers how the novel engages its readers, particularly from an educational standpoint. It highlights that Bronte's narrative actively compels us to delve into the characters' minds and grapple with their often contradictory motivations.
Yeah, because there isn't a straightforward, all-knowing narrator just giving us definitive answers, we are constantly challenged. We have to question the perspectives presented, weigh the information we get,
Piece it together.
and ultimately form our own judgments about the characters and their actions.
And despite its very specific historical setting and the often dark, sometimes disturbing events that unfold, the guide suggests that the core themes, intense love, the destructive nature of revenge, the complexities of family dynamics, they remain powerfully relatable, even for us reading it today.
In its concluding thoughts, the guide reiterates that despite the overarching darkness and tragedy, Wuthering Heights delves into really profound aspects of human passion, the limitations society imposes, and the potential, however fragile, for breaking free from cycles of destruction. It's really a testament to the novel's enduring impact that, as the guide notes, even young students can connect with the intense emotions and power struggles depicted within its pages.
So, to kind of synthesize our exploration here, Wuthering Heights, as illuminated by this insightful teacher's guide, is a novel of remarkable structural complexity. It's driven by these potent forces of both passionate love and bitter revenge.
Right?
This intense drama is filtered through the subjective perspectives of potentially unreliable narrators, and it relentlessly examines timeless themes, family bonds, overwhelming passion, the conflict between our sort of primal instincts and social expectations, all set against that haunting, evocative backdrop of the Yorkshire moors.
And this brings us to a final thought for you to consider, directly inspired by the source material we've been looking at. Reflect on Catherine's powerful declaration, Nellie, I am Heathcliff.
Such a famous line.
It is. Does this profound statement truly unravel the destructive nature of their bond? Or does it perhaps point towards a more fundamental, even unsettling truth about the very essence of identity and love? What are the deeper implications of such complete merging of two individuals? Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over. If this deep dive into Wuthering Heights has sparked your curiosity and you want to explore further, well, we highly recommend delving into the full novel itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Or perhaps revisiting other works by Emily Bronte, or even exploring the vast landscape of critical analysis that continues to debate its many layers of meaning and its enduring legacy.
And you might also find it fascinating to compare different film adaptations. See how various artists have interpreted these incredibly complex characters and timeless themes for different audiences over the years.
Lots to explore.